Welcome to this week's State of the Market update. Let's get right into the data. So the first thing we're looking at here is the outbound tender volume for the United States. And as we look at this chart, we see we made a full recovery after Labor Day. Things kind of went sideways and then took this dip into the first quarter, and now it just seems to be kind of going sideways. And people are wondering, like, when's the volume going to pick up? Where's the volume? And I'm going to show you a few key markets where we've actually seen a lot of increasing volume. First thing I like to do, though, is zoom in and just look at this month. So even from the second week of October, we've actually seen about a 4% recovery in the volume index. And one thing you have to keep in mind is the volume index for the United States is like a freight train with 135 cars. So once that engine starts moving, you've got 135 markets that really need to see some action for this index to really take a big increase. And as we look at the index over the last year, we see this like 98 to 9,900 level as kind of a key point. So remembering that tomorrow is Halloween, and typically after Halloween the retail season kicks off, we should see this number break above and out above this level and into the 10,000. But I wanted to show you some markets where we're really seeing some activity already. Some in the Southwest, some in the Midwest. So Austin, Texas is a market where we've really seen the volume shoot up after the first week of October. And we're getting into some of these key levels here on the index where volumes are just continuing to come up. Volume in San Antonio is kind of the same thing. We did see a dip in yesterday's data, but for the most part, this market has taken off. It's actually up almost 80% since the beginning of October. Los Angeles, I've noted here, is at an all-time high. We continue to see tariffs and increases and things on the West Coast where people are really trying to get freight into the country. And so a lot of it is being distributed. Some of it is being warehoused. And as this freight is being released, we're actually seeing the tender volumes in Los Angeles. Again, these are at all-time highs. Ontario, the market just to the east, is also peaking out on the volume levels. McAllen is another area in Texas, again, picking on Texas, where we're kind of hitting these mid-summer levels as far as the volume goes. And volumes, if you're just looking at a month at a time, you really see where these increases are making a difference. If you're looking at a year, kind of keep your eye on some of these tops here as we're peaking out on the volume into the busy season of retail. Jefferson City is another area that we've written about this week as well. This is another market that's at an all-time high. And also in Jefferson City, in addition to the volume, the other markets that I mentioned haven't quite seen the rejection rates go in. But if you look at the rejection rates for Jefferson City, for instance, you'll see where recently the capacity has not been able to keep up with the volume. So you'll definitely see these rejections start to climb and maybe put some pressure on the spot market as far as that goes. The next market that I had was an interesting story down in Austin. So a couple weeks ago, with all the flooding down in Austin, there was actually a water treatment plant that was shut down because of contamination. So what people did, obviously, they're drinking a lot of bottled water. So the white line here is the rejection rate going into Austin. And whereas it's normally high, you can see after about the 8th of October, it just started to plummet here. The blue line is the inbound volume into Austin, and you can see where the lines crossed here around the 11th of October, and the volume starts to increase. What happened is almost like a post-hurricane relief effort where we're just sending bottles of water in there and truckers are getting a premium to go into that market. So it's really interesting to see something like that pop up in the data. That is all we have for this week. Please join our webinar tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. We've got a lot of cool things in Sonar we want to talk about. Color changes to the heat map. We've got scrolling tickers, just like you see on the news. That's a new feature rolling out next week. And also something called a tree map. It really simplifies these markets when you're looking for anomalies and volume and rejections and things like that. So be sure to join us for the webinar tomorrow. Thank you very much.